We are going to start with a Wednesday night football action. Coastal Carolina Chanticleers going up against the 21st ranked Louisiana Raging Cajuns. Both teams 3-0. Coastal Carolina just one game in the Sun Belt so far. Louisiana 2 games in the Sun Belt. Louisiana off to its first 3-0 start since 1988. They haven't played since September 26th, so they haven't played now for 2 weeks. So, I guess that's not so much rust there. Last out, they defeated Georgia Southern 2018 on the last second 53-yard field goal. They got their season started off with a big 31-14 win at Iowa State. We've seen how good Iowa State is since then. Senior quarterback Levi Lewis passed for 723 yards, 4 touchdowns, 3 picks. And then Coastal Carolina off to its best start in its 4 seasons at the FBS level. Chanticleers began their season with 38-23 road win over Kansas. They're averaging 44.3 points per game behind redshirt freshman quarterback Grayson McCall. McCall's throwing for 728 yards, 9 touchdowns, 1 pick. He's run for 139 yards. And last year, the Raging Cajuns smashed this Coastal Carolina team 48-7. At Coastal Carolina. Nolly knows. Let's start off with you. Wednesday night, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, little college football. What are you looking at here?
Yeah, Jimmy, right away when I look at this game, everybody's going to be jumping on Louisiana Lafayette, in my opinion, just because of the fact of that ranked number. But I don't think they've looked so good in my opinion. They were able to squeak out the last 2 victories, one in overtime to Georgia State, and like you said, the last second field goal against Georgia Southern. And the big part of that is because of the offensive play. You got Levi Lewis, really hasn't looked that great. 4 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. And even in that game against Iowa State, they had less than 275 yards of total offense. They relied heavily on 2 special team plays. Don't get me wrong. The defense played really well, and that is their strong point. That's the reason that they've been able to stay in these games. Against Georgia State, they were down double digits and were able to come back because, like I said, the defense. But here, they got a tough task against Coastal Carolina. Like you said, redshirt freshman Grayson McCall, he's looked really good. The 9 touchdowns to 1 pick is a big stat I look at. But more importantly, he gets the yards when he needs to. He's not really a dual threat, but he is a bit mobile, and he can get the yards when necessary. And the big game he had against Arkansas State, 322 yards, 4 touchdowns, and getting first downs when he really needed it. And this is a team with Coastal Carolina that their defense has looked extremely good. You look, Lafayette's given up 21 points per game, and Coastal Carolina's given up 22.3. But when you look a little closer, a lot of those points come in garbage time. They're blowing out these teams with Kansas, Campbell, and even Arkansas State, which is actually a really good team in the Sun Belt. So to me here, the way I look at this offensive play and the defense seems to be pretty similar, on par with each other. But to me, I'm going to take the better quarterback and getting the 7 points here, even though on the road. Give me Coastal Carolina +7.
Coastal Carolina +7. There's been no movement on that side. And by the way, I just refreshed, and man, all of the totals jumped on my screen. We have them for everything. So we are ready to rock and roll. This total opened up at 58. There were 57.5s and 57s on the board at opener, but that got hammered. It's now up to 58.5. We have Coastal Carolina +7 for Nolly. Nolly, any feel on this total?
The total's a bit difficult. The way I see Coastal Carolina putting up points, the offense is really moving down the field efficiently, and that's my one concern. But, I mean, I got to lean towards the over. As much as I like these defenses, this matchup is going to be a bit different, and Lafayette's going to have to try to keep up, in my opinion.
All righty, we have a lean to the over from Nolly Knows. Let's move over to John Ryan. Wednesday night football, Coastal Carolina, Louisiana, Raging Cajuns. What do you think here?
Well, I like the analysis he gave. I have a supporting system on the Raging Cajuns. I just love saying that mascot. It's just a cool name, in my opinion. But here we have a betting system over the last 5 seasons that's gone 35-10 with 1 push. 76% winners. You're going to play against road underdogs of 3.5 to 10 points. That are classified as excellent offensive teams that are gaining more than 6.25 yards per play. Are now facing a team with an average defense allowing 4.8 to 5.8 yards per play, and 2 teams that are in the same conference matched up. So again, that's 3.5 to the 10-point dogs you're going to play against that are averaging 6.2 yards per play, facing a conference foe that has an average defense allowing 4.8 to 5.8 yards per play. So it's pretty simple to track, and obviously hitting a very high percentage over the last 5 years.
That would lean you over to Coastal Carolina. Is that a move you think you're going to make? Over to Louisiana Raging Cajuns.
It would keep me on the Cajuns. This system also is 21-4 the last 3 seasons, which is even better. But my lean would be definitely on the Cajuns in this game. Home favorite, conference, midweek. Got to think that they win and cover.
A win and cover. All right, we have Nolly and John Ryan on opposite sides. Let's see if CMac can push us in one direction. CMac, you making a move?
No, I'm kind of split down the middle here. I'd like to take the points with Coastal Carolina. I think this could be a kind of a shootout. Coastal Carolina can score, and so can the Raging Cajuns here. Both defense haven't showed much early. I take the 7.5, and I definitely would lean to the over. I think this goes up as well throughout the week. So if you like the over, I'd get on it now. But I'd take the points with Coastal Carolina. I know it's midweek, what John was saying. The Raging Cajuns are a good team, but so is Coastal Carolina. They've been a team I've been on the last couple of years that have been really profitable for me. I grabbed the points with more to touchdown. But I'd wait and see because this line could go up, I think, with maybe with
I agree
with the Raging Cajuns.
I think the Raging Cajuns will, and we've seen no movement thus far. Actually, let me just make sure that we've seen no movement. That's not correct, actually. This opened at some of the offshores at 6.5, so that's already moved to 7. Bet365 is the opener. We use the licensed American books. That's what we talk about here. Bet365 opened it at 7, but some of the offshores opened it at 6.5. All right, so interesting spot here, and our CMac saying if you want the over, get on it now. So that's moved a point at least at most of the main books, point or 1.5, and it just came out. And then the side, we have John Ryan on Louisiana Lafayette, and we have CMac and Nolly knows on Coastal Carolina plus the points. And I like that idea. I think if you want Coastal Carolina, just sit back and relax. If you want Louisiana Lafayette, I would get in now at the 7. There you go. That's the Wednesday night football action, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, Coastal Carolina versus Louisiana Lafayette.